So I booked a flight through my boss for the earliest flight on this sad morning. It was an 8:50 a.m. flight. I chose this flight. I wrote down this flight in my planner, but somehow I mixed up the time and swore that the flight was at 9:30. That's what I told everyone. Dear friends were going to show up at the airport at 8:30 to see me off because my flight was at 9:30, or so I said many times. So my kinman dad drove me to the airport after a final goodbye to the beach, and we arrived at 8:35. And my boss was really confused and ushering me into the line. With only 15 minutes before takeoff, I got my ticket, checked in and paid for my 2 bags, and was escorted directly to the plane. I was the last person on, and I got to my seat with 2 minutes to spare at 8:48 a.m. What a miracle Taiwanese domestic airports are. And I have a choice, and by that I mean when I show up at a normal time or early to the flight, about a half an hour before the flight, I prefer to sit in seat A, which is on the left side of the plane. Seat A for both takeoff and landing gives you a full view of Kinmen from the window, but I was on the right side this time and I could see Taipei 101. You can see it in the horizon. I love the Taiwanese urban and natural landscape, and I love this Songshan airport, what I flew into, because it's in the center of the city. When I stepped off the plane, the cabin crew pulled me aside and gave me an envelope of money because I'm a VIP. Just kidding. I had overpaid for my luggage in Kinmen and they gave me the difference back. For this flight, I only paid 120 Taiwan dollars or $4 US for my 2 overweight bags because the international flight is through the same airline company. Then I made my way toward brunch with my dear friend Becky.
2位可以吧？
有定位吗？
还没。
好。那边的位置。
好，谢谢。
谢谢。
谢谢。
那个麻烦过来点餐。
OK， 好。
I love you, Becky! Next, I grabbed a rental bike and I biked to the Wisteria Tea House, which according to Google was a famed meeting place for social activists in the 1970s and 80s. And one of the kind ladies taught me how to make tea. And so we made tea.
Oh, 水蜜桃，好。
Oh, cool. I actually had bookmarked this tea spot in 2017 when I first visited Taiwan, but I never found the time to come. So this time I biked here because I wanted a place to sit before heading to the airport. I don't know if you can tell, but here, while I am daintily pouring this tea, I am not doing well. My heart was pounding and I was slightly shaking. I had just finished writing my last round of packages I was going to send out at the airport post office, and I knew the end was near, but it still didn't seem real, as if I was only going home for a vacation. As I was leaving, the friendly ladies at the other table in the room offered me an orange-flavored candy. I was impressed by the strong flavor, but overwhelmed that in this country, strangers can be in the same room and share food, and together we can have lovely conversation without fear of spreading a virus. What a miracle it is. I rode back to the MRT station and took my last MRT ride, and I was having a moment because the transportation in this city is so good. Almost too good to leave behind. Almost. Here's some footage from the MRT ride while I tell you that back at the airport I did mail my packages and check my luggage out of the storage. Then a lovely friend met me at the airport to see me off to the taxi that would take me to the Taoyuan International Airport. And I was really choked up that he would go out of his way to say goodbye. But then I got in the taxi and off I went. The driver was so lovely and we chatted the whole time while I was crying the whole time.
20岁，因为我喜欢哭。你说对了，那不是，我说24岁。对，我习惯台湾。
你看得到的地方，我都可以带你去玩，我都走过。
OK。
你看我开车的，像这个是太鲁阁族，不是太。
Even though it had been a cloudy day, the sunset was beautiful, and the taxi driver even sent me this photo of the sunset afterwards because I kept talking about the sunset the whole ride. After checking my bags, some friends stopped by to say goodbye to me at the airport, and I'm so happy to have had their friendly faces send me away when I left my Taiwan.
I didn't need anything, so I'm gonna have some nutrition biscuits. 你睡机我会想念你。怎么那么烦点？
I'm not gonna lie to you, I felt pretty awkward putting on this clothing because as you can see from the people scurrying behind me, no one else was wearing it. But honestly, Carrie was so kind to give me this clothing, I was not going to not wear it. And also, before the flight, some other people put these suits on, so I was not alone.
好笑哦。
The Taoyuan International Airport is objectively a good airport. However, it does not have a 7-Eleven inside, and I really wanted my favorite coffee from 7-Eleven before the flight, but I forgot there are no 7-Elevens there. Also, people's default language to speak to me in is English. My face behind the mask is clearly foreign, but I just prefer people to assume that I can speak Chinese, and it makes me practice my Chinese more. So I don't like the international vibe. The slippers were very nice though, and they also gave alcohol to disinfect our seats. The 2 meals were good, and at one point in the flight I saw a brilliant woman taking a nap across her whole row, and so I tried to do that, and as soon as I laid down, turbulence started and we needed to fasten our seatbelts again, so I sat upright. The flight seemed very fast. It only lasted about 10 hours, and every moment that I wasn't awake eating, I was sleeping. And here's my first step in Los Angeles for almost a year. Then I got stopped by customs. Oops. And my cousin picked me up, and I got to see 2 sunsets on December 30th. One on one side of the world and one on the other. This one wasn't too shabby. And then I ended the night with In-N-Out, as all Angelinos need to do when they return home.